Taking a break, looking up something. What do their names mean? Hey guys, today we are going to answer the question that I posed in my last blog concerning Daniel and his 3 friends. We talked about this at youth group last week a little bit when we talked about how Nebuchadnezzar changed Daniel and his 3 friends' names to something different. Changed them to change their identity away from Israelites to Babylonian, essentially, and we'll talk about that in a second. So the question I asked you was, what did Nebuchadnezzar change Daniel and his 3 friends' names to? Now here's the thing. Most of the time when you think of Daniel and his 3 friends in the story of Daniel, and specifically in the story of the burning furnace, and how God was there to protect them as they stood in this burning furnace, we think of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But some people might not know that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are their Babylonian names, the names that they were changed to in captivity. And Daniel is his Hebrew name, is his Israel name. If you were to refer to Daniel and his 3 friends using only the names that they were changed to, it would be Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I say Belteshazzar, so. Some people say Balthazar, but it's spelled very differently from Balthazar. So. And it's funny because we always refer to them as Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What you're doing there is you're kind of mixing the original Hebrew names with the Babylonian captivity names, because Daniel, like I said, is his original name, and Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego are their captivity names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's Hebrew names are actually Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. So, if you would refer to them in Hebrew, in that name, they were Daniel, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. Or if you would refer to them all using their Babylonian captivity names, it would be Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It's a little known fact, their names are said specifically in Daniel towards the beginning, referring to his 3 friends as Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. But for the most part, we know them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. If you ask any trivia question that's centered around what are Daniel's 3 friends' name, it's always Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Which is true, but that is their captivity name. If you wanted to refer to them by their Hebrew names, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. Daniel, his name means judge of God, judge of El. Hananiah means Yah or Yahweh has favored. Mishael means who or what is El or God, and Azariah means Yah has helped or Yahweh has helped. So they mean something related to God. That's why they're the Hebrew names. Now if we compare these to the names that they were giving in captivity, the Chaldean or the Babylonian names, Shadrach, loosely translated, means command of the moon god. So it's taking their names, which originally, Shadrach's original name Hananiah, Yahweh was gracious, goes to command of the moon god. They're changing their names to change their identities to the different deities, different gods. Meshach stands for who is what Aku is. Again, Aku is another Babylonian god. It's changing away from who is like God, which is what his Hebrew name would stand for, to who is what Aku is. Trying to change their identities into these new Babylonian gods. Whereas Abednego means servant of Nabu as another god that's not the Yahweh God. Israel's God was Yahweh, was God, was I am. And they're changing their names, which identifies them who is like God, who Yahweh is gracious, Yahweh has helped, all these things that identify how great their God is, and they're trying to twist them and change them into things that identify them with the Babylonian gods, with the moon god, with Aku, with Nebu, with Nabu. And so that's kind of really the reason why their names were changed by Nebuchadnezzar, was to kind of assimilate them into the Babylonian culture, to take them away from their Israelite heritage and their Israelite roots. Just a brief explanation of Daniel and his 3 friends, and the meaning of their names, and what their names were changed to, and the common misconception that it's Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Whereas those are their names, it's crossing the two different heritages of their names. It's crossing the Hebrew with the Chaldean or the Babylonian names. So there you have it. If you answered Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, technically you were 3/4 of the way correct, because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were the names that they were changed to from Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. But Daniel obviously is his Hebrew name. If you said Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, then you were correct. Those were what their names were changed to. This is difficult. When all else fails, go to Wikipedia. I should make sure that that's true, so I'm not speaking heresy. Accidental heresy is still heresy, and you shouldn't do it.